Insurance-related businesses Bill 2019. Government Bill. This Council resumes the second reading debate on the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Amendment Bill 2019. Mr. Christopher Cheung, Chairman of the Bills Committee on the bill, will first address the Council on the Bills Committee's report. Mr. Cheung. President, in my capacity as the Chairperson of the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Amendment Bill 2019, I report the key areas of the Bills Committee's work. The bill seeks to 1. Amend the MPF Schemes Ordinance, the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Ordinance, the ordinance for short, to empower the Mandatory Provident Fund Authority MPFA to establish a wholly owned subsidiary, that is, the eMPF Platform Company, to develop and operate the eMPF platform. And 2. To amend the MPF schemes fees regulation to charge an annual registration fee on approved trustee of registered MPF schemes. The Bills Committee has held 2 meetings with the administration and the MPFA on the bill. The Bills Committee noted that necessary legislative amendments to implement the eMPF platform will be made in 2 phases. The first one is to empower the MPF authority to set up the eMPF platform company. It will be a private company under the company's ordinance. Details on the future operation of the company, such as implementation of the platform, will be dealt with in the second phase legislative exercise. Mr. Kenneth Leung, what are you doing here? Don't just stand there holding a camera. Mr. Cheung, please continue. The Bills Committee has looked into the benefits of the eMPF platform, particularly how it helps to reduce administrative fees of MPF funds, expedite the introduction of full portability of MPF benefits, as well as the abolition of the arrangement of offsetting severance payments and long service payments against MPF accrued benefits. In addition, some members opined that the administration and the MPF authority should reform the MPF system to resolve various problems, which include high administrative fees and poor investment performance, as well as restrictive requirements for early withdrawal of benefits by scheme members. Regarding the benefits of eMPF platform, the administration pointed out that the eMPF platform will facilitate the standardization, streamlining and automation of MPF scheme administration process, thus providing room for reduction in administration fees and enhancing the transparency of administration fees and costs of various approved trustees, while increasing competition amongst trustees, which is conducive to further reduction of fees. The administration and the MPF authority will continue to work with the approved trustees to ensure that scheme members will reap the benefit of the platform. The actual rate and pace of fee reduction depend on factors such as actual operation cost of the platform and the digital take-up rate. The administration indicated that the eMPF platform will be conducive to the abolition of the offsetting mechanism, which is a prerequisite for full portability. Regarding the review of the MPF system, the administration indicated that the MPF authority has taken a number of measures, such as introducing the employees' choice arrangement in 2012 and the default investment strategy in 2017 to create more room to reduce the administration fee. The eMPF platform, it is envisaged, will provide room for trustees to lower the administration fee. As for permitting early withdrawal of MPF benefits by scheme members, the administration emphasized that the purpose of the MPF system is to provide retirement protection for the working population. Allowing early withdrawal may undermine the integrity of the system and adversely affect the benefits available to scheme members upon retirement. As the eMPF platform company will be in charge of developing and implementing the platform, which involves substantial public funds, the administration will move an amendment to add a new clause 14 to designate the eMPF platform company as a public body specified in Schedule 1 to the Prevention of Bribery Ordinance. The Bills Committee supports the amendment. On charging an annual registration fee on approved trustees, the bill stipulated that if the immediate preceding financial period of a registered scheme ends on or after the 1st of January 2020, the cutting-off date, the amount of annual registration fee payable for the registered scheme will be equal to 0.03% of the net asset value of the scheme as at the end of that period. The Bills Committee inquired as to why it had taken 20 years after the MPF system commenced to charge an annual registration fee and why it was set at 0.03% of net asset value, but not 0.05%, which can enable the MPF authority to fully recover the cost. Members also asked about the mechanism for reviewing the annual registration fee in the future. The administration has advised that the MPF authority has been meeting its operating expenses by relying mainly on investment returns from the government's capital grant of $5 billion provided in 1998. The grant is projected to be fully depleted by 2024 to 25. The proposed annual registration fee will provide the MPF authority with a stable source of income. In determining the level of fee, the administration and the MPF authority need to observe the statutory requirements under Section 22B of the Ordinance. While an annual registration fee of 0.05% of net asset value is compliant with the statutory requirements, having considered the proposal of prohibiting approved trustees from passing on the cost of the registration fee to scheme members, the administration and the MPF authority consider it appropriate to adopt an incremental approach by starting with a lower level of 0.03% for the first 6 years to allow room for approved trustees to adjust to the new expenses. The annual registration fee level will be revised from the 7th year after MPF authority's review with a view to achieving full cost recovery in the long run. Moreover, in view of the lapse of time since the bill was introduced into LegCo, the administration will move an amendment to amend the cutting-off date to the 1st of October 2020. The Bills Committee does not object to the administration's amendments and will not move any amendments.
Mr. Lok Chung Hong. Thank you, President. Well, today I'm speaking on the Mandatory Provident Fund Scheme Amendment Bill 2019. When we talk about the MPF, a lot of the workers were grumbling. I even called this MPF mandatory contribution, little choices, bad investment performance in all tiers for workers. More infuriating is that high charges. The similar retirement schemes abroad are charging 0.5% or lower. Hong Kong, lots of the schemes are charging 1 point something or even close to 2% of management fees. So you're costing so much and yet you're underperforming. Well, this double whammy infuriated lots of workers. A lot of people, especially the working population, had a bad impression of MPF. Well, over the past decade, I see the system is plenty of loopholes. The labor sector have been advocating the abolition of the offsetting arrangements for severance payment and long service payment. The government have insisted that to abolish the offsetting arrangement, you have first launched the eMPF platform first. Otherwise, it would be technically close to impossible. It's also hard to separate the amount before and after the cutoff date. Thus, we see the MPF may have a certain role to play in retirement protection because at least the employer will have to contribute. However, the most ideal retirement benefits will require a tripartite contribution, including the government. The core object of the bill that to set up a eMPF platform as a wholly owned subsidiary, and to revise the amount of annual registration fee payable to approved trustees. The FTUC set a centralized platform to help the workers to efficiently manage the past and current MPF accounts. We put all the data under one roof instead of visiting different websites. You can't recall all the passwords if you're holding multiple accounts. And also greatly reduce the red tape and also help reduce the management fees of the MPF schemes. And to set up a centralized platform would pave the way for full portability of MPF benefits. So workers can flexibly transfer their MPF accounts to the trustee they decide. And they actually open up the market by introducing more competition. They can push the MPF trustees to cut the administration fee and actively manage the funds and the investment activity. The key part was that it should expedite the abolition of the offsetting mechanism. The offsetting mechanism have cost billions of workers' benefits, allowing the employers to withdraw their employer contribution to offset against the LSP and SPs. For this the existing offsetting system is also the biggest obstacle on full portability because you have to lock in the employer's contribution so that it can be offset anytime. So after abolishing this offsetting, the employee contribution can also be withdrawn and fully transferred to another MPF trustee. That's why we have to resolve the offsetting mechanism first. So we need to set up the eMPF platform before paving the way to abolishing the offsetting, and before paving the way for full portability MPF benefits, and before boosting competition and reduce the administration fees. This is a domino effect. I see as a must. The strongest criticism have been that why it's taking so long, it should be done long overdue. Hong Kong as a global financial center when it comes to investment or fund management or even fintech, we are no short on talent. Why does EMP platform something as simple as this? It should be too complicated. that it would that would only be reformed 2 decades after MPF was launched. So where I must criticize the government. So this eMPF platform source actually did this. As for the accrued benefits of the MPF, only at the hundreds of billions of dollars. So the eMPF platform has a wholly owned subsidiary, MPFA, to operate on a non-profit basis to avoid the conflict of interests and or along with other negative perception and to strengthen the workers' confidence of the MPF regime. Well, is the MPF had to do associate with a private company that was concerned that whether you're playing both the judge and the player, referee and the player. But now that the MPF play as the middleman or as statutory body, a wholly owned subsidiary, I see as taking the right direction. The centralized platform will centralize the processing of all the site administration, and also on paperless. That means online to achieve the goal of cutting the administration fees. Well, there's no more excuse of charging such high fees. They often like, why with high administration charges? Because they have received a lot of papers from and have to fill up the forms. There's no excuse further on. So as to conducive to the reduction in charges that will help to lift the MPF fund's performance. While the eMPF is not the a means to end all for the default investment strategy have a certain effect because they are 0.59% charges. Well, by way of legislation, I hope the government can further suppress the charges so as to drag down the charges for other funds. We can fully open up the market and introduce more competition. Thus, we support the setting up of the centralized EPF platform in which a wholly owned subsidiary or MPFA will run it. After setting up this platform, we believe that the workers will more proactively manage their existing and past MPF contribution accounts. I mean, those are personal accounts. Why I'm saying this? Before the launch of centralized platform, the workers will have to consolidate their own MPF accounts. Well, you know how complicated we tried it. It was so cumbersome and vexing. You have to call so many times and fill out so many forms. If you fill it by mistake, they will not bother will continue to do busy schedule, which keep up a lot of workers and just leave it there, not know whether the MPF account is making a profit or a loss and doesn't know the account balance. Well, how come people usually care about the money? However, this process is too complicated that people just give up. So, and really missing the key objective of the MPF to elect the employees to actively manage their own account to suit their own investment strategy and also have a long-term in retirement protection. Well, the various problems in the MPF regime, for example, the lack of centralized platform for management and no full portability of MPF benefits, and of course the much maligned offsetting mechanism, and also the fully managed fund. Like from the outset, why the MPF have such a bad public perception? Well, we don't have full portability now, but at least we have the employer choice arrangement (ECA), which allowed the employee to fully transfer their old accounts or their existing employee contribution to trustee of their choice. While the number of participants far from satisfactory, in 2012, the successful transfer cases only made up of the 2% of all the contribution accounts, and though the number are appalling, it was so complicated. You can see that a lot of on the street. You see a lot of the MPF booths that are not popular. One of the biggest failures is that the ECA only help to manage the employee's own contribution, and it have so much different accounts, which really put off people from managing their own accounts. The decentralized platform will help to get rid of such obstacles and encourage the workers more proactively manage their own MPF funds. On the abolition of the offsetting mechanism, that really should be the key labor issue that should take forward by the government. The FTU have said that they should complete this exercise within this legislative term, while the government claimed that they have to take care of the AMPF first before going to the next step. Well, now we can't do this within this term. I hope that the Carrie Lam must promise they should make good on their promise that within this term of administration, that before 2022, to complete the abolition of the legislative amendment for the abolition of the offsetting arrangements, and the Labor Advisory Board and seem to have a great consensus across party lines. The government should not do it any longer. I thought that it should be the first item of business in the new term legislature to be completed before 2022 in abolishing the offsetting mechanism. Well, the reason being protecting our interests, that the employee contribution, well, due to concern that it might be used for offset at any time, could not be transferred away, so as to achieve full portability. Once you have full portability, well, maybe the employer may have choose one provider for you at the time of account opening, but you're able to choose or transfer to a trustee of your choice. They will lead to greater competition when it's fully open. Thus, there will be more incentive to cut their fees and boost the investment returns. Thus, we see that it should be done without delay, so as to achieve the true objective of the MPF is to protect the retirement benefits of the workers. As for charging the end registration fee on the trustees, we fully support this because the MPFA will need to operate on a sustainable basis. By charging the approved trustees over 0.03% of their NAV as they, which about $268 million, we see that this income could guarantee the authority to discharge its functions in supervision and education, which I see as necessary expenditure enhancing the MPF regime. I believe this 0.03% of the ARF would be a reasonable level. Thus, I would support the charging of the ARF. And finally, the FTU also support the government to set up a wholly owned subsidiary to run the MPF, and also in charging the ARF to ensure the financial sustainability of the MPFA. I so submit, President. The meeting will now be adjourned and returned by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.